Donald Trump is running to the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals and asking them for permission that he could keep on threatening people. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. You heard that right. Donald Trump is seeking an emergency stay. He filed an emergency motion with the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals asking them to stay the district court limited gag order imposed by federal judge Tanya Chutkan, which simply limits his ability to threaten the special counsel's office, their lawyers, and their family members, and limits Donald Trump from threatening witnesses in the case and their family members. But Donald Trump is asking the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals on an emergency basis in a brief that he just filed for help. And Donald Trump says that it is a violation of his First Amendment right to threaten special counsel Jack Smith and to threaten witnesses. And Donald Trump says that the speech that he engages in is perfectly acceptable. And he's requesting not only that the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals overturn, reverse, strike the federal judge's gag order, but they're asking in this emergency motion the Court of Appeals to temporarily stay the gag order imposed by federal district court judge Tanya Chutkan in the interim so Donald Trump can keep on threatening people. He just wants to threaten people, folks, and he needs to do it now. I mean, just think about it just from a practical standpoint. If there was an order imposed upon litigants in a case saying don't threaten people and that the parties can't threaten people, don't you think all the parties would just simply stipulate to that? Well, not Donald Trump. Here's the brief that Donald Trump just filed. Defendant Appellant Donald J. Trump's emergency motion for stay, pending appeal, and request for temporary administrative stay. And they request that relief be granted on or before November 10th, 2023. Before going into Trump's brief, let me just read for you what the limited gag order imposed by Judge Tanya Chutkan actually states. And Judge Chutkan was even willing to stay this gag order for a short period of time on her own. And as soon as she stayed it, what happened? Donald Trump then threatened Mark Meadows, a witness in the case, when there was news reported that Mark Meadows was cooperating with special counsel Jack Smith, or was at least provided with immunity to testify before the grand jury and eventually to testify against Donald Trump at the trial, which is now scheduled for March of 2024. So Judge Chutkan's like, look, when I stayed my own order to determine if the stay was appropriate, you started threatening witnesses right away. And no one's above the law. And yes, there are First Amendment rights, but no criminal defendant can just start threatening witnesses. That's just not what's allowed in our system. If you want to criticize Biden, you want to criticize you have free reign to do that, but you can't attack witnesses in this case. So here's the gag order. It's important that we look at this first so you see how limited it is. Accordingly, and pursuant to the local rules, it is hereby ordered that all interested parties in this matter, including the parties and their lawyers, their counsel, are prohibited from making any public statements or directing others to make any public statements that target the special counsel prosecuting this case or his staff, defense counsel or their staff, any of this court staff or other supporting personnel, or any reasonably foreseeable witness or the substance of their testimony. And then Judge Chutkan says, this order shall not be construed to prohibit defendant from making statements criticizing the government generally, including the current administration or the Department of Justice, statements asserting that defendant is innocent of the charges against him, or that his prosecution is politically motivated, or statements criticizing the campaign platforms or policies of defendant's current political rivals, such as former Vice President Pence. So it's limited to just that. Well, here is the motion, the emergency motion that Donald Trump just filed with the Court of Appeals after Judge Chutkan removed her stay and reimposed the gag order. Trump writes, no court in American history has imposed a gag order on a criminal defendant who is actively campaigning for public office, let alone the leading candidate for the President of the United States. That centuries-long practice was broken on October 17, 2023, when the district court entered its opinion and order. Well, The centuries-long practice of having peaceful transitions of power was interrupted when you led an insurrection, and the centuries-long tradition of litigants behaving themselves and criminal defendants behaving themselves ended when you act like a maniac and when you act like you're above the law. No criminal defendant acts like this, period. And people don't behave like this, period, unless they are criminals or have something seriously wrong with them, in which case they shouldn't be seeking the highest office of the land.
Let's face it, working out is hard, and the cost of personal trainers makes it even harder. That was until I linked up with Copilot. My Copilot has had a transformative impact on my exercise journey. So here's the deal. The My Copilot service links you with an affordable, real-life personal trainer at basically the touch of a button. From there, you get personalized workouts tailored to individual needs and goals. You have real person accountability. You have flexibility with a schedule to fit your life, and you have expert training that is affordable. My favorite thing about Copilot is that my coach keeps me accountable while also understanding that life sometimes gets in the way. The flexibility of the schedule with the incredible enthusiasm and passion my coach brings to the table really keeps me wanting to come back and continue to work even harder. Like you, I have meetings or appointments throughout the day, and I can't be stuck spending too much time at a physical gym, or I'll never get my tasks accomplished. With my Copilot, I'm able to work out from the comfort of my own home on my terms. I've been using my Copilot for a little while now, and the energy that's come back to me from all these workouts, well, it's just been incredible to see. It truly is fitness made easy. Now, I'd love for you to follow my lead, to get fit and feel fabulous. Give Copilot a try. To find out why it's listed by Forbes as the top-rated personal trainer app of 2023, head to go.mycopilot.com/Meidas to get a 14-day free trial with your personal trainer. That's go.mycopilot.com/Meidas to get a free 14-day trial with your very own personal trainer. Take a back seat and let Copilot help you reach your fitness goal.
Trump goes on to write, given the gag order's extraordinary nature, one would expect an extraordinary justification for it. Let me pause there. There is. You're threatening to execute the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley. You're calling the critical witness, your former chief of staff, a weakling and a coward. You've posted, if you come after me, I'm coming after you. Your conduct has resulted in death threats made against the judge. So there is extraordinary justification for it. But Trump says none exist. Trump has made months of public statements about this case, but the Department of Justice submitted no evidence of any actual or imminent threat to the administration of justice. Instead, when asked about the supposed threat to the case, the prosecution admitted, of course, this prejudice is speculative. Based this speculation, I think he means based on this speculation, but they don't know how to write. Based this speculation, the district court entered a sweeping viewpoint-based prior restraint on the core political speech of a major presidential candidate, based solely on an unconstitutional heckler's veto, and this idea that a speaker should not be held responsible for people who engage in conduct as a result of things that the person is saying. The gag order violates the First Amendment rights of Trump and over 100 million Americans who listen to him. It's already like an absurd motion. 100 million Americans don't listen to him, or not willingly listening to him, or don't follow. I mean, what are you even saying here? Trump's uniquely powerful voice has been a fixture in American political discourse for 8 years. A destructive fixture. And by the way, he's free to speak. He's giving speeches all the time. We play him here on the MeidasTouch network where he goes on the stage and makes grunting noises and does weird things and attacks NATO. He's free to speak. Just don't attack the witnesses or threaten the witnesses in the case. Goes on to say, Trump's viewpoint and modes of expression resonate powerfully with tens of millions of Americans. He's free to speak. We've read the gag order. He's perfectly fine. He's allowed to say abhorrent things. Just don't threaten witnesses. And it goes, Trump requests a ruling on this motion by November 10th, 2023. It goes through a statement of the case, and then the main kind of arguments that are made is political campaigns require the First Amendment's fullest and most urgent application. By the way, that's why Judge Chutkan said, and that's why I wanted to read the order at the outset, he's free, criticize, condemn, say you're innocent, do all of the things you want to do. Just don't threaten witnesses. Just don't threaten the special counsel's office. It's as simple as that. And it goes, the gag order violates the rights of tens of millions of Americans to receive Trump's speech. Now think about the sociopathic behavior there. Think what a malignant narcissist he is there. He's saying this deprives people of hearing Trump transmit threats about the special counsel and witnesses in this case and court staff. If the tens of millions of people want to hear threats that could result in harm to people, that's incredibly problematic behavior in a criminal case or in any context. Then it goes, the gag order imposes a classic heckler's veto. This is a classic heckler's veto, which the First Amendment categorically forbids. Under the First Amendment, public speakers are not chargeable with the danger that their audiences might react with disorder or violence. It's not that they even might. They have. They have. We've seen the conduct. But that should let you know everything about what his argument is. He's calling himself a heckler. He's saying this is the heckler's. You're trying to veto the heckler. Yeah, I may get the crowd all rowdy, but I am just a rabble rouser. Just think about that. That a major candidate for the United States presidency is saying because of the heckler's veto, he should not be gagged and he should be permitted to say. I mean, it is really an absurd argument being made here. And then it says the gag order reflects forbidden viewpoint discrimination. Of course, discrimination, right? So Donald Trump and everybody who try from the MAGA side who act like people who truly are discriminated against aren't. The first thing that someone with privilege like a Donald Trump does is say they're being discriminated against. You're discriminating against my ability. I am the victim. You're discriminating against my ability to threaten witnesses. That's the real discrimination. It tells you everything you need to know about him. So that's the motion that was filed by Donald Trump, an emergency motion to the Court of Appeals, and we will keep you posted as we learn more. I'm sure there will be an opposition that will be filed. We'll cover that here. And then before November 10th, there will be a ruling. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers thanks to your support. And check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch and have a great day.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.